Hello. So let's go over senior exits. So what a senior exit is pretty much just a way for you to connect with your graduating seniors and kind of figure out where they're at in their college application process. Are they going? Are they not going? If they are going, have they done their FAFSA? Have they done this? Do they know where they're going? Have they applied for scholarships? So for you as an advisor, this is just a way for you to kind of one, to make the student realize like, oh crap, this is real, this is coming fast. And then two, just for you to gauge where you're at and what you need to do to help the student. So I'm going to kind of just go through the form really quick, just so that way you can see what I'm talking about. So I'll go to my browser. Okay, so I'll come into my box, that's where I currently am, and I'll go to my documents. I currently don't have it in the online documents. We are working on getting everything in the online fillable form. So just know that that is coming, but for now, I'll just kind of look at this and then we'll go from there. But this is what they look like right now. So they're really not too difficult to find out. So I'm just gonna kind of go with it, through you with it and with you through it and kind of just explain a little bit more. So again, pretty obvious. You put the student's name, what school you're at, and then their birthday. The reason it's important to do the birthday is because when you do these senior exits, you will also have to do a FERPA form. So I will show you after that, but you want to know this because with FERPA, they have to be 18-year-old to sign just themselves. They're under 18, their parent has to sign. So that's why we have you do that. So are you on track to graduate from high school? Yes or no? A couple of reasons no would just be they don't have enough credits to graduate or something like that. Or they're going to go to Job Corps. So that's just two reasons why. Okay, what colleges and universities have you applied to? So have not applied is in place, and it wants you to list everything. Just for data purposes for our program to see where everyone has applied to or how many places if they're out of state. It's just a data reason, so please fill that out. Okay, and at this point, do they know where they're gonna go? And you can even just make a little note saying probably or considering, because usually you start these April, May-ish, and so some kids might not have it 100% figured out. So feel free to just put like a question mark, anything like that. Again, straightforward. Are you planning on going this fall? And are you planning to enroll full time? Okay. So if they select no, that they're not going to go, why? Why are they not going? Because they just can't afford it, which is a really good reason then for you to be like, oh, well, let's look at scholarships. Have you finished your FAFSA? Things like that. Medical, military, they're going on a mission, or they just flat out just don't want to go. So we do need to know that. And if there is another reason, you can explain it here, okay? And then at this point, do you plan on attending later on? So a lot of times we'll have a kid who is going to go on a mission right after, but when they come back, they do want to go to school. So then you would select yes, and then the estimated year they would come back. Because with Gear Up, we can work with kids their first year of school. So it doesn't have to be the year after. If they decide to take a year break and then go back, we can work with them. So this having a guesstimate of when they'll be back or starting school will allow us then at that point to have that record pull up saying, hey, this person should be back. Let's help them and make sure they're good to go. Okay. So the next one, did you complete the FAFSA? Yes or no? Okay. That's really important because not a ton of people can go to school without having FAFSA done. Some kids can, or they take out loans, but we really need to make sure that we're focusing on helping all of our kids get the FAFSA done. So a lot of times it'll just be because if they haven't yet, it's because their parents' taxes. So then that's where you can step in as the advisor and be like, hey, let me talk to your parents and let's get this going. Because it's one thing to hear from your kid to do something versus having like an official from the school or whatever, or this professional come in and say, look, we've got to get going on this. Okay. Did you apply for any scholarship awards? This has become a lot more important for us to know. So even though there's not a spot to, it's really becoming important that we put what scholarship they've received and for how much, and or if they're waiting to hear back on one. There's not a lot of room. Feel free to flip it over and use the back, come down here, whatever you need to do. Please make sure you're writing that down, okay? This, in my opinion, right here, is the most important thing to have filled out, hands down. Because once a kid graduates, if you don't have current information, how are you going to contact them? How are we going to have our first year specialist contact them? So even if it's just a non-school email address or a home address or stuff, like as much information as you can, but you have to have something there. You really do, because it's going to make everyone's life a lot easier. So double, triple check that as we get the kids to fill this out. Okay. And then really that's all the kids need to do. Then this part is for us as advisors and as data specialists. So we just need to put, well, did they drop out? Did they go to adult ed and get their GED? Did they graduate a year early? Did they graduate on time? And then sometimes our kids will be like a month behind and need to do credit recovery. And so we'll just put the month that they do, the dates they graduate. Usually you can just put the actual school's graduation date, because 9 times out of 10 your kids will graduate on time. There are some kids who will dodge you. It's just the name of the game. So we need to have you document when you attempt to contact them. So, and you need to mark whether it's a direct phone, like in person, a phone call, a text, getting on Facebook, sending them an email, anything like that. And you need to date it with a time. Once you have at least 3 attempts, you can be done with this. But they have to be 3 different attempts on 3 different days with 3 different methods. So you can't just send 3 emails and call it done. You need to try finding them in person. You need to try giving them a phone call, texting them, finding them on Facebook, sending them an email. So 3 different ways on 3 different days before you can complete this. Another nice thing that you can do is right here under counselor notes, and I just see that that has a typo, that's good, is that you can, and we ask you to like leave little notes about your kids. So put in there like, Dylan is super interested in photography. Eventually his goal is to open up a business, or this person wants to start off doing a science bachelor's so that way they can go to med school, or this person is really into basketball. That's when you'll connect with them, just so that way it's not really awkward and impersonal when our first year specialist starts contacting them, that they can kind of feel like they already know what to expect and about the student. So it's really nice to have what they're interested in, what they plan on studying in college, why they're not interested in college, and these just little notes. You don't have to go crazy, but just like maybe a sentence or 2 on that would be great. Okay, and then at this point, that's when the first year specialist will take over doing the exit form 2 and 3. So just this is your responsibility, as well as the Ferpa form. And that's what this looks like. So I, the student, do hereby grant you to blah, blah, blah. So what this is that we can talk to the school, we can get grades, we can get the information, and these are all the things that we can get. So I usually tell the student, so pretty much if you would like to keep working with Gear Up, we really need you to sign this so that way we have access to know what we can help with, to know if your FAFSA has been done, for us to talk to the college advisors on your behalf. And usually when you say it that way, they're like, oh yeah, I need you to help talk to my advisors, or I need help registering for classes, things like that. and then they'll sign it, okay? If your student does not 100% know at the time where they're going, leave this blank. Because if you fill in one school, we can't white it out, we can't cross it out, because then that's not really legal. We would have to get an entire new signature, and you can't do it virtually or anything. It has to be a physical signature. So if they're like on the fence, not 100% sure, do not have them put a school name there, okay? So then down here, student signature, and then here's this age thing I was talking about earlier. If they are 18, they are able to sign for themselves. If they are not, they have to have a parent right here. One cool thing that I actually just learned a few months ago from our state paperwork person, I can't think of her exact title, is that if they are not 18 and they know that it's going to be a pain to get their parent to sign it, they can post date this. So they can post it. So say they're not turning 18 until July 1st, they can put July 2nd and then have 18. So what that does is just saying that we can't access anything until that date. And it has to be the day after their 18th birthday. So it can't be the day of. So that's a nice little walk around if you're not really able to get around to the parents. So just be aware that you do explain to them what that means to have it post dated and all that entails, okay? Please be very, make sure they understand why you would do that and what that means, okay? If they are already enrolled in a school, we need their university ID number. So like with Utah State, you have your A number. If they have it, we need it, because that's how we can contact the school to get their transcripts, anything like that. So if they have it at this point, get it. If they don't have it, that's okay. Your first year specialist will get it later. So once you're done with these forms, please turn them in ASAP so our first year specialist can start working on those and getting to know the students. But really, that's it. And hopefully this helps you to get to know your seniors a little bit more. Thanks, guys.